Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, Viking Land Saga. um, I honestly love where this show is headed. I did not expect to be so, invested in it, and so looking forward to everything that's going to be coming. But regardless of that, I just can't help but be excited for this show. Um, this week's episode definitely tops off a little bit more about Thor, uh, and just what he's been through as a whole, or what he's kind of sacrificed. At the end of the day, we saw Thor doing the give up stage, like we saw him giving up as a whole. So to all of a sudden then see Thorkell's side of it was pretty nice. We know that he Thor Thor's fell off the boat and pretty much stayed act as he was dead. So because of that, it definitely was a opening it was an opening eye moment for Thorkell, and he still really didn't understand what just was about to occur in the grand scheme of not only was he about to get into a fight with Thor's that is absolutely a true warrior, but he doesn't even need a real weapon to fight against someone as ridiculously powerful as Thorkell, as we just saw this week's episode. You should probably bring a whole army to fight him, unless you're someone who has some secret information, which it looks like Thorkell just has a weak jaw, which isn't like it's not even like a real weakness. I feel like, 'cause, I mean, to be fair, there are some people out there that have ridiculous amount of stamina and a ridiculous amount of just I don't even know what to call that. It's just like endurance. It's just some ridiculousness, right? Because once the part of your lower jaw gets hit, which I think the reason why Aslad thought it was an actual weakness and not just something that works for every single person, is because that's the only thing that he's actually seen him be taken down by when he was even seriously wounded, and he's still fighting perfectly fine until all of a sudden he must have saw someone catch him with a punch to his jaw and be the thing that made him faint or fall unconscious. So, of course, remembering something important like that would lead to this moment, and it was super mad cheap. But regardless, he's going against a little kid, so he's literally taking out, or not taking out, but he's putting forth all of his energy and trying as hard as he can to take out a kid. So it's pretty obvious that when you do stuff like this, it leads to, uh, you know, you getting treated unfairly in the battle, getting a light shined in his eye from a sword and throwing his guard off. Thorfinn could throw a kick to his jaw, taking him out. So it's one of those things where you're kind of like, did that just really work? And then you're watching, you're like, okay, yeah, I guess it works. But the best part is after he knocks him out, how quickly he jumps on him to continue not only the job, but to at least submit, that this was still a real duel, that no one was holding back, no one was, you know, unfairly treated or whatever you want to say. But after seeing this, after seeing this week's episode, man, it's so crazy to see how much these characters have just changed over the span of 3, 4 episodes, right? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. To think that they've continuously seen their wrongs, their rights, and they kind of just act accordingly. The one thing that scared me the most out of this week's episode is where was the guy who was fighting for the prince by himself with the priest around him and stuff. Which we didn't see the priest, so that was a good sign. Uh, only in the grand scheme that he's hopefully taking care of this guy and not just sitting there drinking in front of him. So that's a thing. Actually, he might not be drinking. He did say he just witnessed a miracle, so I don't really think he would do anything against the the following of Oh Boy. You know, I don't think he's gonna do anything to go against the prince at this point. And if the one thing all he has to do is address someone's wounds as of right now, and that's what the miracle child wants him to do, by God, he gonna do it. So I am interested in seeing if that guy's gonna make it out. I always forget his name. I'm pretty sure it starts with a B, but him eating those crazy mushrooms and going off and still being brought back to reality by the prince was interesting. So I would definitely want to see if he makes it from those wounds, or if it's gonna be something that, like, the last thing Aslad kind of gets to see of what his army used to be, besides being him and Thorfinn, and now pretty much Thorkel's just ally, you know. So I am very interested in seeing what people have to say about this week's episode, because not only was it relatively interesting, I still have a good feeling that we're going to get a lot more of explanation as to why Thorkel, sees these eyes and knows exactly what they mean. Like, they know exactly, he knows exactly that once he sees them, there's something of, legend. There's something that he may never understand because he didn't go and visit with Thor's. And I love that explanation as to his character, in the case of he doesn't really want to kill anybody as much as he just wants to fight and see if he's stronger than people. So it really definitely hurt him to know that one of the strongest people he could have ever fought just up and dipped, right? Like, they just up and not only just dipped, but they quit fighting in general. They're just like, yeah, fighting might not be it, chief. I'm gonna go be a true warrior somewhere else. And to hear that not only he's gonna go be a true warrior, and like, he hasn't been one this whole time with you guys, so that's kind of an insult on them as well. Um, but to say that you're going to become a true warrior, leave, and do whatever it is that you're gonna go do, it definitely put a shock into Thorkel. And to think that he actually wanted to go, if he would have went with them, he would have maybe found out. I don't know if he would have fully found out what it was. I mean, sure, he would have been able to fight against Thor's, or, like, spar against them all the time. I mean, shoot, he could probably use a weapon against him, and Thor's would still beat him soundly. I mean, he broke an axe with just like his forearm, or like the handle of the axe. So I don't think he'll have that much of a problem dealing with Thorkel day to day when he was living his life. Sure, he was getting weaker, supposedly, but that didn't stop him from still being much stronger than a bunch of people who live their life stealing and pillaging. And the only reason why he lost his life in that situation is because of his weakness for his family, for his love for his son. So that's the type of stuff that I don't think Thorkel could ever experience. Uh, the the love of not wanting to have someone die so much that you lay down all your weapons, all your, everything, and don't fight back, or you don't, you allow yourself to die in wishes of someone else living. Doesn't seem like something Thorkel could learn. And if he does, he might just learn it with his little nephew, his great nephew, that we find out they're related in some way, shape, or form. So we'll see how this all turns out. I definitely want to hear what you guys are saying about this week's episode. Amazing stuff. Like I was saying, my boy Thorfinn trying to rip this man's eyeball out after he knocked him out. He was not done with the fight, and that's our boy Thorfinn. With all that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely be talking to you very soon here with some more stuff. So keep your channel and your eyes and your ears open for your boy, and I'll have some new stuff for you. So with that, peace.